Go.
Let's do it.
Hi, and welcome to our ICF Orange County webinar for this morning. My name is Dave Huxtable, and I'm the president of the Orange County Board for another month and a bit until I hand over to next year's board. But before then, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Kat and Curtis Knecht, who will be our presenters this morning. Now, Kat works at Kat and Curtis are co-authors of a book called Soul Search. And Curtis is a renowned relationship coach, and Kat trains coaches at the Coactive Training Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And today they're going to give us a very, very interesting presentation, which is about the meeting, if I've understood it correctly, of the ICF competencies and business growth and development.
Ooh.
So very topical at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So without any more from me, welcome Curtis and Kat, and over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Dave. We're excited to be here talking about this, one of my favorite topics. So as Dave said, I train coaches at the Coaches Training Institute. And so I'm always looking for, wow, where can we grow as coaches, and what are those coaching skills that we most need to know? And I was approached, it was probably about a year ago, by Choice Magazine. Some of you might know Choice Magazine. They are a premier magazine for coaches, an online magazine. And they asked if I would write an article about the ICF core competencies, since I was a coach trainer. This makes sense. Well, the business that I have and that Curtis and I share, Soul Driven Success, is a business academy for coaches. So I train coaches for the Coaches Training Institute, but in our business, we train coaches on how to make their coaching businesses successful. So when I got this message, I thought, well, it would be good for me to brush up on my competencies. I know that I know them, but I hadn't really done a deep dive in a long time. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to see how do the core competencies actually align with what I believe and that we teach at our academy, how a coach can market and do sales in their business. So we got that all dialed in. We created a teleclass. We've been doing it for a while. And then I'm going to just put this piece in here right now because you all might have gotten this message. So last week, Curtis and I are on vacation. We get back from vacation. We're getting ready to do this teleclass. And we find out that ICF has introduced new competencies. And first we're like, freaked out a little bit. How is this going to work for us? We took some time and looked over the new competencies and got really relaxed because it says right on the opening sheet that what they found was the core competencies they've had for 25 years still stand the test of time. And basically they have stayed the same and evolved. So the new core competencies have more about ethics and agreements. They have something called the coaching mindset. They've evolved it, but they didn't actually take away what we're going to teach you today. So if any of you are thinking, okay, you want to learn the new competencies, you're going to learn those today. Just when the new competencies come out, you'll see that there's more for you to learn. Okay. So here's a myth that I hear in my work a lot about coaching. The myth goes like this. Here are coaching skills, coaching mastery. This is what I train coaches to do. This is where we get really, really great at our coaching and helping people. And we coaches love that, and we love to learn more and more. Over here in this hand. And then over here, it's business. This is business. This is different. It's in a different hand. It's a whole different category. You can kind of hear my voice. Sometimes it's not as much fun. And what I know is that coaches, we love to learn, right? How many of you out there watching this today go, you love to learn, right? We can just put it in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. That's what we're passionate about. Well, there are skills that you have. I'm going to use the core competencies to identify the basic, main, important coaching skills. And hopefully you will learn something about the core competencies, but as well bust this myth that I don't know how to do the business part. right? And hopefully you'll end this call kind of like this, going, oh, I see. I can use my skills and I can use them with my clients, but also to build my business. So how many of you are game to do that? Yep, you game? Good.
Put yes in the chat if you're
yes, but yes.
Down at the bottom.
Okay, I'm going to start with a metaphor because we coaches love metaphors. I think it's the best way. It's how we use them in coaching. It's a good way to teach. Here's the metaphor. See if you can make this leap with me. Yes, yes. I see in the chat we have yes, yes. We have people who are game. Good, because it's important. I'm really hoping you'll open that learning portal today and take in some new information about these competencies and how you can use them perhaps in a new way. Here's the metaphor. Dating and marriage. Okay, there's the metaphor I was going to take. So when when you think about marriage, you think there's a commitment. Agreements have been met. You've actually come together, two people. It's a coach. So if I think of the metaphor and use it for coaching, that's a coaching relationship. That's when you've already gone through all the steps and you've agreed that you're going to be in a relationship together, right? There's marriage. Then there's dating. Dating is where you're looking for a fit. You're looking for somebody who matches you. And that's where marketing and sales is like dating. And if you can really go with me on this metaphor, when you're dating or in the dating field, as they say, like in the marketing field, you want to be using your relationship skills, the ones that you want to use once you're married, right? It's not like over here in dating, I'm going to do a whole different thing and trick somebody because they're going to think I'm so great or something. And so that when we get married, it will be really, really different. So that's the first metaphor as you're looking at this. As I go through the competencies, marketing is like dating. We're putting ourselves out into a marketplace, but we want to use the coaching skills in this case, coaching skills that we're going to use with the clients once they hire us, as we're letting them know about what we do and who we are and how we can help them. So to start, Curtis is going to set us up, kind of set this up for us, and then I'm going to go through each competency and I'm going to show you how you can use it in your marketing. And during this time, I have some questions for you, but feel free to ask any questions, make comments. We'd love to know what you're thinking as we go along in this webinar.
All righty. Thank you, Kat. Great. Great introduction. I love the dating marriage metaphor. I mean, I've heard you use it in our practice, but somehow it was sweet. What we're going to do today, we're going on a journey, and the journey's Kat's going to take us through all 11 coaching competencies, and as they're organized into the 4 different areas that ICF has grouped them, and going to do it looking at this particular edge, I think, for many coaches, which is the marketing and sales that will always grow our businesses. So she's going to take us through the competencies. And once we go through, Kat and I are going to do what we're calling a walkthrough of a coaching consultation that is designed to both inspire and sell, that integrates these 2 areas of our competencies as coaches and the importance of growing our businesses so that what we do can have the impact we want it to have in the world. We're going to be using a template that Kat and I have created and give away. It's on our website. I'll put the link in the chat here. I'll actually do that right now. Mm-hmm. The template is a coaching. It's a guideline for a coaching consultation with a potential client. Mm-hmm. And after we do this walkthrough, we'll have some Q&A and questions. We actually will have Q&A all along the way if you would like. And then we'll just wrap it up and say goodbye. That'll be the next 51 minutes. So Kat.
All right. So we're going to start the ICF coaching competencies. They're in areas, right? So we're going to start with, at least I call them areas. I don't know their official title. We're going to start with area number 1, which is setting the foundation. This is where we have meeting of the ethical guidelines and professional standards and establishing the coaching agreement. So super important. And where I go first in my mind when I think of ethical guidelines and professional standards is when you're thinking about your coaching business, I want you to think of it as a business. Sometimes coaches call it a practice. I think calling it a practice sounds more like it's something on the side, something you're practicing. When you call it a business, you really set that higher bar of professional standards. We are in business. That means we're here to deliver something beneficial, and we're here to make money doing that. That to me is just very, very clear. When you, the next piece is what Curtis talked about just a moment ago, and we're going to do a little walkthrough of it. Instead of a sample session, and I'm going to bring back the dating analogy now, instead of a sample session, which to me would be like giving away a little bit too much on the first date, if you know what I mean. Instead of that, I really highly recommend having a coaching consultation. I think sample sessions are one of the biggest mistakes that coaches make, because we haven't established that agreement with our clients to really have them go for something big. Often in a sample session, people will bring a problem, and sometimes we help them solve that problem in a sample session, as opposed to seeing if they're a fit, right? Using the dating metaphor one more time. When you go, any of you out there who have been dating or ever dated, you go for coffee. You find out, you have some conversation. Who is this person? And I want to let them know who I really am. And then we see if we're a fit and if we want to go farther. A coaching consultation will establish a really accurate agreement with the potential client. We're here to see if there's a fit. It holds those professional standards. It's a business. It means there's something in it for you and there's something in it for me. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Marketing and sales. It's actually how different professions succeed, is because they have marketing and sales as a natural part of how they do business. So that's the A, right? We're calling it A, the A area. Then there's area B. Area B is co-creating the relationship. Now we're getting somewhere. So first you set the foundation, and now it's time to get to know who the other person is and have them get to know who you are. When it comes to marketing and sales, if you use this competency, establishing trust and intimacy with the client, I love that. I mean, this is really and truly when we're in a coaching relationship, without establishing trust and intimacy, clients are not going to share with us the truth about who they are and what really matters to them. When it comes to marketing, what's really important with this competency, it's a little different. Again, like dating, you actually, in marketing, using this competency to establish trust with someone, you want to share your own vulnerable story. You want to let them know, here's who I am. Here's how I came to coaching, perhaps. This is an area maybe I struggled with. I have had challenges. This is why I care so much that I've made this my career. This establishes trust. People don't want to know what you do so much, right? They're not actually all that interested in, I'm a coach. They want to know, like, who are you and what do you care about? Because once they know who you are and what you care about, then you can bring on the next piece, which is back a few slides, which is the coaching presence. Oh my gosh, I love this one. And in the new competencies, I'm going to tell you, they really unpack this one very well. So coaching presence, it's almost hard to articulate, I think, like what exactly does that mean? But when I think of marketing, and marketing that's really from the heart, This coaching presence is where we let people know we see them. We actually see them. Part of where people challenge me at times, because this is my business, helping coaches with their business and building a successful business. They're like, why should I be highlighting people's pain and problems? Because that's not what we do as a coach, right? It's not about solving problems. But in marketing, if you can tell people, I have been down some rough roads myself, a vulnerable truth, and then let them know, I see you. I know I can meet you right where you are, not some prettied up place that you might want to be, where everything's perfect and everything's flowing along. I can actually meet you right where you are because I see the brilliance in you. Even though I can see, sure, you might have a challenge. There's something you don't know how to do. Now, does this make sense? I'm really curious. If you think about anybody out there, I want to throw this into the chat. Is there some marketing activity that you would like to do, or maybe you have done in the past, where you could imagine using these two competencies? Right? Some marketing activity where you could go, oh, I get it. This is a place where I could tell my vulnerable truth. I could talk about why I care, and I could let the potential clients I'm looking for know that I see them.
Kat, Anita
Yes.
has a question a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Potential clients seem to expect a freebie. How do you deal with this?
So I love that question. So I'm going to hold this question, and hopefully people will get into this question. I'm going to go to that one. So there has been an expectation that we as coaches have put out there that they're going to get a free session. So I would just bust that. I mean, that to me, we just have set that up as coaches. We've set it up. Would you expect that from a doctor? I mean, I don't know if I was going to a doctor, would I say, oh, please, I don't want you to charge me the first time. Or, you're going in to get, examined by a dentist. So I'm saying there are other professions where we do not have the expectation of something free. We might have the expectation of an introduction. And is this Anita? And so for Anita, I want you to, when Curtis and I do the walkthrough using our coaching consultation, I'm going to come back to you with this question, because what I believe is we can say to a potential client, it's not a free session, but you are going to walk away with value. We're going to take a look at your dreams, take a look at your challenges. You're going to walk away with some new insight about who you are. But this is my own personal stake, Anita. I don't give things away free. I mean, I do. I give away resources, right? That's another thing you can do. We have things, if you go to our website, we give away exercises and templates, and I give away things that will help people move forward in their life, but I don't ever give away coaching for free. Okay.
Daniel says, I've used this sharing my story approach to marketing my retreats in Peru next year. It has really helped to create conversation.
Wow. Thank you, Daniel. Yes, it does. It creates that connection, right? That's the co-creating of the relationship. You're sharing who you are, and people want to now share who they are, right? It gives them that safety, that trust. Oh, I can now share my own, my own vulnerability. That's what we're talking about. And I want to make this really, really clear. I'm not talking about you're sharing what you do and overloading a person with here's what I do as a coach. You're actually sharing who you are as a person. Really, really important. Okay, was there anything else in the chat about marketing activity where anyone else with that, Curtis?
No, it's the last chance.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to be talking about some marketing activities in a moment where this could come in handy, because almost all marketing activities, when we share our story, okay, I'll just do it now and I'll repeat myself later. If you have a blog, if you have a presence on Facebook, if you do presentations, if you go to networking meetings, those are some marketing activities. I don't know, as Daniel said, I don't actually know anything more beneficial than letting somebody know, here's who I really am, and I see you, and I'd like to know who you really are.
I'd also like to add to that, Kat, that I'm letting you know who I am in a way that lets you know why I care about doing the work that I'm offering you.
Right. Oh, this is a little in the way. Yep. Yeah, there's the 1, 2. I see that as these 2 competencies that we have up here on the screen really going together with that. Okay, we are in area C, and this is like right at the center. Wouldn't you all agree, if we're talking about coaching, is communicating effectively? I read something, I'm just going to put this in here with active listening. I read something yesterday. It said something like, listening is about being present, not merely being quiet. So I think of that strikes me as active listening. We're being present. What's being said? What's not being said? We pick up on body language or voice tone. And the next competency is powerful questioning. We don't ask about facts or details. Powerful questions about, like, who are you? What's important to you? What are you here on this planet to do? What's stopping you? Powerful questions when you're out in public, like anywhere. This is like some of marketing. I'm going to put this in here. Some of marketing our business is just wherever we show up. Whether you're at a wedding or a family gathering or hanging out with friends or you're at work, wherever you are is an opportunity to market your business by using these competencies to engage with people. And powerful questions, I find when I go to networking meetings, this is my number one. I have this in my hip pocket right out front. All I have to do is ask powerful questions about, like I just said, what's important to you? What's your dream? Wow, if your business could be as great as you wanted it to be, what would be happening? Who would you be? So that's competency number 6. And number 7, I really, really love this one. This is direct communication. So powerful questions, we make it about them. Powerful questions are about who that person really is. The next piece, this direct communication, I'm going to ask a question of everybody here. How many of you think of marketing and sales as being manipulative? Just put like a yes, yep, kind of. What are your thoughts about that? Marketing and sales is manipulative.
I have a yes.
I am going to tell you.
I have a no.
Oh, okay. So marketing and
sometimes. Yes, no, yes, sometimes. Uncomfortable, maybe. We have a range.
Marketing and sales, I'm going to put these in a couple of different categories. Some marketing and sales, I'm going to be like a blanketing certain areas of business, maybe not true for everyone, but a lot of big companies are manipulative. There is manipulation that goes on in the marketplace when we're being sold to. There are ways that we are marketed and sold to that are false. We're given false promises. Things are shined up. Things are overlooked, right? Sometimes marketing is trying to kind of spark something in our heart without being truthful. And I think this is the reason that coaches shy away from marketing and sales, because yuck, right? Who likes that? I don't like it. I don't like being manipulated. I don't like buying something and then finding out that I've been duped. I don't like plunking down my hard-earned cash only to find out that what I was buying, there was a lot that was left, that the person selling it to didn't tell me about. So paradoxically, if you use this competency or this area, all three of these competencies, active listening, powerful questions, and direct communication. So this means that you need to be transparent. You tell potential clients, you tell anybody who you're talking to about what you do as a coach, and you let them know it is possible to achieve your dreams. Absolutely. And it takes work, and it takes effort, and it takes being willing to make changes. That's what's so cool about it. But you want to be truthful. It takes time, right? We're going to get to this later when we get down to the whole sales piece of this. But so many times I'll have people I'm in a coaching conversation with, and they're like, yeah, something about, it takes like that. Coaches want you to work with them for like 6 months. I'm like, are you kidding me? How, like, if you really want to make something new happen in your life, it takes time. There is a reality here on earth. Coaching is magical, but it really also has to face reality of a person learning and growing at their own pace to make something happen. So this number 7, direct communication, I have found it to be one of the most useful skills, my coaching skills, that I bring to my marketing, is being really, really honest and upfront with people all the way through, from dating to marriage. Even after they've signed up to be a client, we get clear, here's what's possible, and let's be realistic so that we can really work together in a way that's powerful. So this area is one, if you have not yet really considered bringing this into your marketing and sales, I highly recommend you to spend some time looking at the powerful questions you ask clients, thinking about how your active listening elicits who that person really is, and where you might be even more direct. Like on our website, I don't know if we're just in a shift with our website, so this page might be down. I think it's still there though. But on one of our pages, we have like right at the top, like, if you're looking for this, here are the things we don't promise. For the program that we're offering, our business alchemy by design, we have like, here are the things you're not going to get. If you're looking for these 6 things, go elsewhere, because we don't deliver on those things. Okay, you can see I'm getting pretty passionate about this. It's time to move on. Curtis is letting me know it's time to move on to area D. And we're going to have time for, if there's a question you have, either put it in the chat now, right? Put it in the chat now, or maybe, and I can go back to it when I'm finished here. Or if there's something about those last competencies that really has struck you, I'd love to have your question about that. Facilitating learning and results. Now, this is the area where I think this is true for most coaches. This is what we do talk about in marketing, right? We really do talk about, here's what you're going to get. But I want to go through each one of these competencies and do just a little bit on each one so you can see how you might layer in more. First is about creating awareness. This is about creating an awareness for the people you're engaging with. So it could be that you're writing a blog, or you're writing an article, or you're writing a post on Facebook. You can write about the potential you see is possible for the people who are going to be reading that. Does that make sense? It's like we can actually create awareness in all of our marketing messages so that people see new potential for themselves. I have this as one of my, even if I'm doing a sales series, right? Even if I'm like flat out selling one of my programs, I put something in that message about whether you buy this or not, I want you to know what's possible for you. And the other piece is designing actions. And I'm curious, where do you, the people watching this, where do you put this into your marketing, or where do you have a question about how do we design actions planning and goal setting and accountability in marketing and sales. So we don't have to wait for somebody to hire us. And I have had people who have been on my list who get my blog, some of them for years, because I've been doing my blog probably 15 years now. 15 years, some of them have been on my list, and they read what I help them to gain results before they even hire me. So that after a while they get, oh, Kat knows how to get results because I'm getting results just from reading her blog or just from watching her Facebook show. We can put in a blog, we can put in a webinar. Somebody, when Anita asked about people, they're wanting something free, you can hand out an exercise, a coaching exercise that has a potential client getting into action. I have a call to action often in my blog, not just the call to action, call me, but a call to action is, so how about the person reading this blog this week, you take on one action and, whatever the blog has been about, making better use of your time or really having better self-care or knowing how fabulous you are. Do it. And I'll give exact instructions in my blog. Here's a way you can do that. Just like I would be giving an assignment to a client, right? Or I would be, and the word just flew right out of my head, what it's called when we, at the end of a coaching session, right? When we say to the clients, I want you to take this and really play with this and see how it changes your thinking.
The inquiry.
The inquiry. Thank you, Curtis. You can give inquiries to a person. How many of you have thought about that? Giving an inquiry to a person, you meet at a networking meeting, and they say to you, they're just talking about themselves, right? They're talking about their marriage or their business. You can give them an inquiry. You can say, so what would it be like if that were, if my business went to a 10? What would it be like if all my relationships were loving? Give them an inquiry. I'm going to come back to planning and goal setting because I want to bring in accountability here. And then let them know that they can be accountable to you, that you will check in with them with an email or say to them, this Friday, here's your inquiry. And this Friday, I want to hear from you. And I want to find out how it went. Now, can you see if we went back through some of the other competencies, how the competencies start really playing together? Because you're co-creating a relationship. You're setting up a professional context. Here's what I do. Here's what I can do for you. So we can bring these really powerful coaching methodologies, these competencies into our marketing. You can put it on your website. I know another mistake I think coaches make a lot is they put on their website, they have a lot about themselves. There's a lot about what coaching is and who I am. What if you put on your website some ways that people who come to your website could set goals, if that's something you love to do? Or here's a way, I do this in my blog, and I've been doing this for years, that I have a series of blogs that go out starting in December through January, where I walk the readers through a process to set their goals for the new year, to create a vision. I go into detail on how to do it. This is, again, answering that question. I give a lot of things away free. I think this is where we give the free things away. I let potential clients know, I'm actually going to help you set goals and hopefully accomplish something. And if you would like, I will hold you accountable. Just send me an email. Tell me what you're up to. I'm going to help you achieve this, whether you hire me or not. So with all of that.
Here's Kat.
Yeah.
Anita has a question here. Do potential clients then not feel that we're trying too hard with them?
So that's a great question, Anita. And I'm using my hands a lot, I'm noticing. I would say there's a big difference between giving them value. So I would say trying too hard is if you're attached that that person is going to hire you. So in all of these core competencies, there's nothing about, right, we pressure our clients or we have an expectation. I would put as a coach, it's always the client's agenda, right? It's always the client's agenda. So when I am offering these free things and helping people, I am not thinking, okay, if I give you that, you then need to hire me, or I'm expecting that. Does that make sense, Anita? It's like, this is like, here's something of value for you. If people don't find it valuable, they're not your people, right? They're not going to be a person who's going to be, what you want to have in your tribe. But I have found there are plenty of people who really, they get value from being in relationship with me. Here's another thing about co-creating the relationship. It's so great as coaches because wherever you go and you're meeting people who might be interested in what you do, they will have somebody, they might not personally want to hire you as a coach, but they might know somebody. If you help them with something, like I'm talking about right now, in a blog or on your website or with an exercise, even if this might not be their cup of tea, they run into, somebody at work who says, oh my gosh, if only I could learn how to set goals. It never works for me. Oh my gosh, I just met this coach named Anita, and she really helped me with this. And it's not really my thing, but here's her number, here's her email address. And you bring up a good point, though, Anita. As coaches, we always want to walk that line, and it is a fine line. Holding the client's agenda in marketing, and yet, really clearly, we're in business to make money. So we're also letting them know, if you want more, if you'd actually like to really cook on this thing, you could hire me because I can help you go a lot further. Any questions? I'm curious, is there anything else out there? Like, are there ways that you, something I haven't thought of or mentioned today, like a way you could use this facilitating learning and results in a way that's marketing? Anybody else have any ideas or questions about that?
And while they're thinking, Kat, I'm gonna offer. We've gone through the 11. These are the 11 core competencies that are evolving as we speak, and yet they are tried and true. And I love them. I love having created this training because it has. I love how we learn what we teach, and I'm learning more about
yeah.
as we've been doing this. This is the second time we've done this
exact teleclass. Yeah.
And
so
usually at this point, we've been in our heads a lot more, if I might.
I have one more thing I want to add before we go to a little bit of a break there.
Okay.
Yeah, because like you said, Curtis, what I love about, this is gonna be one of those. Oh, I'm actually gonna demonstrate. Anita looks like she has another question. I'm going to demonstrate to you. So we are doing a presentation right now, right? We are doing a presentation that's a marketing presentation. It's a marketing presentation, but actually we're here to teach you, right? Our goal in this came again from my magazine article. Our goal is that you walk away from this knowing more about the competencies and you can actually apply them to your business. So one of the ways I know best to market, I'm going to put in quotes, it's marketing because you're letting people know who you are, but it's doing presentations that are not sales presentations, right? They're not like, here I am and I want you to buy something from me. They're teaching presentations. Again, this is like where we co-create relationships and we let people know we care. Like this is who I am and I care about you. So there are a lot of ways getting up in front of the public so that you can let them know what's possible for them, teach them something that you know, and give them a taste of who you are and what might be possible in a coaching relationship. Okay.
Anita has another one. How do you
Okay.
use this for questions re return on investment? And then Kate has a much longer post that I'll get to in a second.
Okay.
But I think return on investment is, let's say there's a stakeholder who, or a client who wants to know what's the ROI here.
Oh, on coaching in general, you're saying.
I'm not sure if
Is that what it is? It's like, how do we let people know about the return on investment, hiring us as a coach?
Yeah. In other words, I'm hiring you. What's going to be my return?
So I want to hold that question too, Anita. That's a great question. And Curtis, maybe you can help me hold that.
Okay.
What?
Kate's still stuck on how not to give away free coaching, even when in dating stage. I call it an exploratory. However, the date still seems to expect free coaching. How to give value without giving away too much has been a challenge, yet still, I was trained to give a sample, as was I and you, and it still seems to be giving away too much. So
Yep.
It's a big question.
This is what I'm hoping everyone will walk away from this. It's a really big question. Curtis and I are going to do a walkthrough. Well, I'm just going to be real blatant about it. I would suggest that you get our our coaching consultation that inspires and sells because for this very reason, after training coaches for 10 years, I've found that this is one of the number one mistakes because we've been trained to do it. I was trained to do it. This is what I was told to do. You do a sample session. It's what people come to expect. And I love what you're saying there, Kate. Like, yes, it's true in dating too. Sometimes you go on a date and more is expected. Then you really are thinking like, no, let's wait. We're just having coffee. You know, that's all. That's really all I'm wanting to do right here. So it's important to kind of shift your thinking. That's what I'm going to say, Kate. Once we do this walkthrough, I'm going to come back to your question and Anita's 2 questions, right? Anita has 2 questions that we're going to skim back and look at after we go through, do a walkthrough of this, because I think what I want to demonstrate here is how you can give more value. I think it's more valuable to a potential client to do a consultation than a sample session. I actually think it's more valuable. So that's one way I would address it with a person. Is to be like, well, I could do that with you, but what I think is more valuable is this. Because with a sample session, we are often help people come with a problem. And it's usually not solvable in one 30, 45-minute session. And they're left with, okay, now what do I do? Right? And that may be hiring you or not hiring you, but still it leaves them in more of an uncertain state. What we do in this consultation is very clear. We let people know what's possible. So I'm going to have you go to the thing, Curtis, and then let's move in. I'm now really excited to do the walkthrough of this consultation.
I will move us into that. Can everyone see that?
Are we going to take a moment to breathe?
Oh! Hold on. I'm gonna pause this share. Hopefully it'll.
I can't see the time now.
Okay. What happens when I pause the share? What do you see?
You're just paused. It's still right there. Let's just move forward. Just go ahead.
Okay. There's a lot of questions sometimes they take us into our head, and all this information Kat has been giving us is taken, well, I'll speak for myself, me into my head. So I'm going to take a moment just to remind us we have bodies, and it's a good time to breathe and notice our breathing. Have a mindful moment of being present to this moment and letting whatever wants to trickle in from what's been talked about, what's been experienced so far, just letting that into our whole selves, our body, our environment, our awareness. And it's always good to notice the breathing. I notice that I can be tight in my breath, get a little tense with the technology I'm here doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Curtis. This is a part of us walking our talk as well in this teleclass. It's like whenever we are doing any kind of presentation, we do our best to remember, I don't know, this to me would be coaching presence, right? Like we're actually not just about talking at you. we really want to be present to what's here and what's possible for you, what wants to come through Kat and Curtis, the entity of Kat and Curtis, so that everybody who's watching and on this webinar can walk away with something valuable. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just do a walkthrough of this coaching consultation that we have created after years and years of succeeding as coaches and now training coaches at our business academy, the things that we find are most important. And at the end of this, we have some questions. So one you might have in your mind is, what competencies do you hear us using? You can just throw those in the chat as you hear them. What are the competencies that you hear us using as we go through this consultation, right? And what are the benefits for client and what are the benefits for coach? As we go through, those are the three questions to kind of be holding. Okay, so we set this up. The first thing you do in your consultation, and I do this even before the consultation itself, is because I ask questions. I have a set of questions that everybody who does a consultation with me needs to answer. I am already co-creating relationship with them because I'm wanting to know, what do you want? What do you want from this consultation? What's important to you? What do you want to work on? How committed are you? I'm asking powerful questions before they even get to the consultation. So there's one way I bring value. People could not even show up at my consultation and they would have value. They would go, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. Right. What am I wanting to work on? What is important? So once we're on the call, I take charge. Now that's a coaching skill right there, right? As coaches, it's our job to take charge. And I take charge as a coach. I let the person in the consultation know, here's what you can expect. Here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to take a look at you, your dreams, your challenges. And I'm also, after I'm done with that, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask me questions about what I do. And I'm going to tell you what I offer. And I let them know, I ask them, is there anything else that's important? Right? This is what we do as coaches. I'm not a hierarchy here, right? I'm not going to be seeing. It's going to be, oh yeah, I'm leading this, but hey, you get to play in. And it's going to be confidential, but please speak up. Just this piece of the consultation gives the client a taste of what coaching is like. They start to feel it. Oh, yeah, okay, so the coach is in charge, but I actually get to play in and I get to have my opinion and how I want it to go as a part of the coaching.
Kat, it also puts right into the field the results our purpose, why we're here, which is to see if there's a fit.
See if there's a fit. That's right.
And you've laid out the pathway, how we're going to do that. But the purpose here is to see, is there a fit? Whereas in a sample session, the purpose is some coaching topic needs to be engaged with and for the purpose of coaching and transformation, rather than, is this a fit to create a relationship that will lead to a marriage and
and children and all those things. Thank you, Curtis. This is like, I mean, if I had jumped over that, I'd be kicking myself later, because this is the point. So when potential clients are thinking they're going to get something free and they want, again, all those things that Kate and Anita that you brought in, let them know, well, actually, what's better than a free session is to see if we're a fit. To actually find out, is there a coaching fit? That's the point. If we give a sample session, we're actually avoiding, that's the thing I started at the beginning, we're avoiding the part that's about business. You're a business person. It's your job as a business person to let people know I have a business. And if I'm going to give you my valuable time and you're going to give me your valuable time, you're going to walk away learning something about yourself, and you're going to know, are we a fit for coaching? So it's transparent. It's right up front. There's nothing awkward after that. Everybody knows where they stand. There's no manipulation that has to happen. There's no moment of like, oh, now I don't know. Do I want to hire, what do we do now after a sample session? It's really clear. We've set it up here. This is to see if we're a fit. I can promise you, this is relaxing to the general public. They're like, okay, good. I understand that. Just like the dating. Oh, good. You're not going to ask me to marry you today. Great. We're just going to have coffee. Good.
No pressure.
Okay.
So then we move into the conversation.
Then we move into the conversation, and this is sweet. So we've already set the context. The person who's having the consultation, they can relax. I know what to expect. And now we ask them, what's your dream? Wow, if you were to get everything you wanted out of a coaching relationship, what would that be like? We can say to them, imagine it's 6 months from now, and you've worked towards your dream. Who are you now? What do you imagine has happened to your life? You can actually give the client, the potential client, the experience. So again, different than a sample session where we're usually working on a problem, we're now going to that high dream. We have set this up. You have a dream. You would not be talking to me if you didn't have a dream. And let's take a look at what it is. Now, one of the most powerful parts I find of this consultation is when I say to potential clients, now let's take a look at your challenges. It's usually like, they're like, whoa. I'm like, oh yeah, what gets in the way of your dream? Where do you stumble, right? What do you see? Oh my gosh, if you imagine really going for this, what would you have to grow in yourself? Now, is that valuable? Do you guys think that's valuable? I'm going to say, yeah, darn right, it is. Right there, whether this person decides to hire you or not, transformation has now happened. This person, can you feel it? Like, oh my gosh, there's a person, she knows I have a dream and she knows I have challenges. She's seeing me. You acknowledge, we champion them. There's so many, I cry sometimes at this part in the consultation because I see, oh my gosh, this person in front of me is so beautiful. They're fabulous. And so that's all we do right there, right? That's purely having our clients see themselves, see their dream, see what's getting in the way. And then there's a shift. And I say, okay, so, I let them know I see their dream. And then I shift into part 3, which is now going to come up on the screen. And I say, so now I get what you're going for. And I want to have the time. And I usually am watching the clock a little bit because I want to make sure there's time for this. So I want to make sure I answer all of your questions. And so we can see if we're a fit, kind of find out if this is something that's going to work for you. So they might, they'll ask me some things about past clients often, or what results are really realistic. They ask things like, well, this has really been fun, Kat. It's kind of like, is this how you are as a coach? Are we going to have this much fun? Because I usually have a lot of fun in my consultations. So those are the kind of things that, okay, I give them all the information and then we get down to the logistics. Ooh. Okay. And this is where I want to, go answer some of those questions that people had perhaps earlier. This is when a person asks about money, the ROI, right? So Curtis, let's just play with this. What might you ask about money or time or?
So I'm going to make a big investment, money and time and energy and my dream. I'm putting it out on the table here. How do I know I'm going to get a return? How do I know the results are actually going to happen? Because it's a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of commitment.
Yeah. So here's where I use the coaching skill of yes and. You want to be really mindful here that you stay in coach mode. You do not go into, oh my gosh, oh, am I charging too much? Or, oh, is this just a waste of time? You stay in coach mode with that client, potential client, and you let them know, yes, it is a lot of money and time and commitment. Like, heck yes. And I think your dream is worth it. Like, what do you think? Because, yeah, it's going to take all of those things. And this is really not about, what you might be thinking, time, money, effort. This is about what are the results you want to get? And can I help you get those results? And if I can, is it worth that? Is it worth your time and money and effort? And I'm going to put, can I help you get those results? Because this is an important part for me. Before we go to the call to action, the important part to me is, what are the results I can promise you? Well, in 6 months, it's kind of depends on, this is your dream. Well, you'll move forward. I can usually articulate at this point, that's a return on investment. You will have moved forward on your dream. You will have discovered new ways to, get over your challenge. You will have accomplished one of your goals. Like, we'll find something doable. And I even let people know in this point, that we'll design that. We'll, find out what's really doable. What's going to be worth your money and time? You're going to decide about that, right? So that's how the return on investment, it's like this is part of the consultation. What was the dream? What did they want to walk away with? We'd let them know what's actually possible, and we don't oversell, but we also don't undersell, because we can tell them that there's going to be more possible than they could even imagine with a coach in their corner. So I want to move on because I'm watching time, the time that we have. Here's the call to action. I love this part. So this is where we find out if we're a fit. So we say,
rubber hits the road.
Rubber hits the road. We say, so, this is my favorite question at the end. How would you like to move forward? And the client might say something like, yes, I want to hire you. Then you go right in. Next step. You make sure you connect with them, send them an exercise. How do they pay? How do they, we want to bring people right into that relationship. If they say some of these other things, I might not, I don't know. I'm going to interview a couple other coaches. This is a time, sometimes I claim them. I say, well, that you go and do that, but I want you because I'm telling you, we just had coffee together and now, I'm not ready to get married maybe, but you are my person. I know I can help you. Be thoughtful about your choice, but I really look forward to the possibility of working with you. You can just be really honest about it. And then you want to let them know how you're going to follow up. That's the accountability piece. So that we really let a client know, I'm going to contact you on Friday, or let's have a follow-up call, or really be sure that you end, no matter what, the end of a consultation with a follow-up step. And there's one other little piece that I want to put in here. It might not be a fit. I might say to Curtis, Curtis, I love your dream and I believe in it. I believe in you, but I hear some hesitation. It kind of sounds like, it feels to me like you're not really ready to go 100% with this. And I only work with people who go 100%. Because that's me at my best. They're 100% in. What I can promise them in a coaching relationship is off the charts. So I only choose those people who are 100%. But I've loved talking to you. And, I really believe in your dream. So you go for it. Thank you very much. Right? It can be, that to me is part of being a professional. Right? We let people know when they're fit and we let people know when they're not. Okay, I want to make sure we answer the questions. There were a couple of questions. We're going to drop this in now. Curtis, if you would drop in again this template here that we've been using. This is a coaching consultations that inspire and sell. Right? You can see that at the end of this consultation, you could easily go, is this a sale or not? That's on our website. And you can also take our quiz on what is your coaching personality. So I want to make sure we addressed, are there any other questions? I think we might have one more minute. Did I answer the return on investment question?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. And Anita said, yes, thank you. We answered it. What is our
Yay.
website? It's in the chat, souldrivensuccess.com.
And before we hand it back over to Dave, anybody we actually would love if anyone wants us to walk you through this consultation as a coach to give you a little more experience of it. You can sign up for a free consultation on our website. We'd be happy to do that.
And it's
Thank you.
Top of the hour, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank
It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much, Kat and Curtis. I feel you really walked the talk there in giving us a lot of value. For me, I mean, it's very, very interesting to look at something like marketing from the point of view of coaching competencies, because I often wonder, and sometimes I regret, you're in a training session run by a coach, and they're not using using coaching skills, and you think, how much better would this be if this was training run in a coachy way? So I really love the idea of looking at marketing done in a coaching way with a coaching mindset. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
We're continuing the conversation. So on Thursday at Hera Hub in Irvine, which is a new venue, by the way, for our face-to-face meetings, really nice, very cozy, very stylish and professional, with a bit of a feminine touch. But also welcoming to people of all genders, but with a kind of feminine atmosphere. We have a face-to-face meeting looking at the competencies and how they've changed according to ICF. But also, I think more importantly, how do we work on those ourselves personally? How do we make sure that we're growing in our coaching, and how do we develop our use of competencies? So that's going to be a great conversation, a great sharing opportunity to network with other coaches, get to know each other better, and to share our learning on how we grow as coaches within the definitions of those competencies. We will be sending everyone a questionnaire on what they loved about this particular webinar and what they would like to see more of in future. Please get back to us. It's really difficult to hear from people about what they want, how we can better serve you. We will also be sending out, if you didn't manage to get the links from the chat, we will put those in that email. And we will also be sharing on our YouTube site a recording of this session, if that's okay with Kat and Curtis.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you again, Kat and Curtis, for a wonderful session. And thank you to everyone who's been on the call for taking part and being very vocal in the chat and asking some interesting and thought-provoking questions, some powerful questions.
Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Wonderful. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye.